Hello, guys, and welcome to the first episode of CB Trading's weekly run through of different supply and demand zones. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through each individual FX pair that I'm looking at the moment. So, you can see on the right hand side, there's a large list of different pairs that I'm going to be looking at. So, just to go through, we'll start with Aussie pairs through to the Canadian dollar pairs, Swissy pairs, Euro pairs, pound pairs, and the Kiwi and also dollar pairs at the bottom there. So initially, I'm just going to run through the different zones I already have on the chart, and then if I do notice anything that I want to plot, then I'll definitely go ahead and do so, and also explain why I'm plotting the zones. So you can see here, Aussie Canadian dollar. If you go to the daily time frame, we're on a pretty kind of consolidation patch, not the best price action, to be quite honest. You can see also this 4 hour zone that I had marked on that. I can't remember if this was taken or not. I think it might have been. I can't remember, but anyway. At the moment, there are no zones available to us. For the kind of swing trading longer term outlook, I only really use from the hourly time frame upwards towards the daily. Very rarely are there any daily zones because they are massive shifts in the market, and also weekly zones, few and far between as well. So if I scroll up here and kind of tighten up the chart, there are no weekly zones that I can see of. Well, that go along with my trading rules anyway. So we'll keep going here and move into Aussie Swiss. As you can see here, there is a potential zone at the top here, but I think it's probably already been tested. So that's an hourly zone, got 1, 2, 3 basing candles, and that's a supply zone. So then from there, I would go into the 5 minute time frame, and then I need to tidy up my zone. So you can see here, the zone is actually quite wide, whippy. It probably was actually that zone there, but that had already come out, retested it, and then dropped. So that for me is an invalid zone. So we'll move on to the next zone. We've got one down here. I just need to double check because normally I put labels on this and I've not done it. 12 hour. So this is an 8 hour zone. One that we'll be definitely looking at if price decides to drop. Also have a daily zone up here, but again, this is not actually the best zone for us. If I go down to the hourly time frame, you can see here it's kind of wide, whippy, and really this whole piece is the zone, but it's kind of one too many non-basing candles in this zone. Well, it's not too bad. It's actually okay. So that's one potential zone to look at when price does, if and when price does reach that level. Usually I highlight the zone in yellow to just remind myself that I have put the trade on as a limit order, because you'll notice I do a lot of limit orders in the markets, and I don't really wait for confirmation on the higher time frames. That's because a lot of the time the zones that I am choosing do react quite nicely. However, that does bring a little bit of a lower win rate, but that doesn't really bother me because usually I can get a risk reward of around about probably 4, 5, 6R on these trades. So moving on to Aussie yen. Again, there's nothing really here for me to look at. This is a 4 hour zone right here. So you can see here one of the zones that was actually really, really nice that worked back in May. Basically pinged the market way higher. It's actually a trade I didn't take though. I didn't have that on, stupidly. But anyway, so this 4 hour zone, it's not the best because it's not really a drop and a base. It's kind of a half drop. So if you go to the higher time frame, it's probably more of a rally base and a rally. But again, I don't like this lower wick, so to be honest with you, it stays on the chart, but it's not one we're going to take. There's a potential zone here, But again, we'll just need to move into the lower time frame. So on a 4 hour, I'll go down to the 50-minute time frame and have a look. So we'll tidy this up just like that. So we've had a rally, a base, and a rally, but I can imagine the rally is not strong enough because we've got a red candle straight after the base. So that is not a valid zone for me. Moving into Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar, I think that's how you say it. Anyway, again, it's had a massive bull run over the past sort of month. So if I move over to the left hand side, we can see there's not really anything for me to look at apart from potentially where price is heading to right now. So I'm just going to use the bar replay mode and go into 12-hour time frame. Again, that just looks like a pivot to me. It's starting to look more like a zone now, but again, there's a long candle wicks down to the lower side before breaking. Again, it's just a one candle pivot. Down to 4, you can just see here, we kind of just pivoted about. However, this is a potential zone. However, I would say one of the problems with this zone is there aren't really basing candles. They're kind of what we'd call leg candles or impulse candles, and we're looking for that consolidation area rather than, I can't use 5 minute, we're at the 10-minute, 15-minute. So it's broken here. If we go back to the 1 hour, has it gone far enough? 17. No, so we can't count that either. So for us to get a new supply zone, we need to look even further left. So I'm just going to put that on there. It's not really anything for us, or anything I can see that's going to be worth of any significant supply. We're getting quite far on here, back into 2022. Go back to the daily time frame. I mean, there's an old zone here that was obviously very strong. That's made the market just decline heavily. So we'll keep that on there, but I think that's probably where price has reached. Yeah, that's a mistake. Don't worry about that. Okay, let's see. The last real zone that I can see is probably here. That's just a one candle pivot, but mind you, that one candle pivot might have had yeah, so this could have been this will have been a really strong zone. But again, hasn't been tested. So price is miles away from where there could be a potential turning point, in my opinion. So we'll just move on to the next Aussie pair. At the moment, the next zone higher up is this 1 hour zone. I don't even know if this is one I've even put on. We'll find out in a second. Looks like a good zone. Well, it's not the best zone. No, one that we're going to keep on the chart, but you can see it's already dropped out of that area and then came back and retested and probably taken a lot of the orders. So going back, let's go to the 4 hour. This is a potential area of interest for us, but need to go down to the 50-minute time frame to just check if it is actually going to be somewhere that we're going to be looking at and are interested in putting on a trade. So I like the move away from it, but the move into the zone here is not the best. So one to probably look out for, but maybe not one to put on. Let's see, so this zone worked very well. Moving on to the CAD pair. So have a zone on here. I think it's the 1 hour zone. I didn't put this trade on though because it's quite a messy zone. I think had already been kind of retested, and it's more like a pullback. Hadn't been retested, but it's more like a pullback rather than a distribution or consolidation of price. Again, doesn't look like there's very much on offer apart from potentially this area here. I think if you go to the 4 hour, it's not the best, but it's not too bad. So for a 2 hour zone, we'll go down to the 10-minute time frame. Have a look. You can see here, price dropped out of it, retested it, so we're not interested. Move on to CAD Yen. Actually, CAD Swiss might have anything lower down. I was looking at this earlier, but I think it's kind of choppy, not the best. And yeah, nothing really there for us to look at. CAD Yen. So this was a bit of an annoying trade, to be honest. Entered this last Friday. Nice 2 hour zone. I'll go down to the 10-minute time frame so you can have a look at it in a more detailed manner. So you can see here, price is quite a nice distribution consolidation. Price had a nice push up into this area and then boosted out of it. Unfortunately for us, price wicked into it on Friday over with a news release, and then kind of just took our stops away. Did they take the low? Didn't even take the low, and then pinged ahead, but not to worry. I don't think there's any zones higher up because I think we're pretty much getting into 2007 territory, which is quite wild, to be honest. If there's anything higher up though, I mean, this is a potential zone. I didn't even see where price was. Yeah, so you can see there that daily zone, it did wick off it, but I mean, we're such a bull rally. It's going to take a hell of a lot of selling pressure to push this market down. Okay, moving on to Swiss yen. So just this 1 hour zone down here that we've got currently in the market. This could potentially be a zone. But again, it's kind of one of these in-between zones. You don't, these drop base rallies, you kind of want them at the bottom of trends, not at the top of trends. They can still work, but just not quite as well. But yeah, this has already been retested. We'll keep it on the chart because if we're looking for a sell, then that could be a potential target because price still can turn from these areas. Okay, moving on to the hourly time frame. Nothing really there for us. Euro Aussie, choppy again. I've got a weekly zone down here. Again, it's not really the best. It's more like a daily zone, to be honest, because I don't really count one candle as a zone. It's got to be at least two. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basing candles. Normally look for max 5, but because it is a daily zone, I'll change this to daily actually. Kind of give it the benefit of doubt. So we tried to wick into it and move off it, and we didn't get close to the zone. So I'm assuming price will reduce. Sorry, reduce. Price will decrease and move into that zone. This is a potential zone down to the 5-minute time frame. I don't like this wick because that shows me that price is retested into this zone. So we'll keep it on the chart, but it's not something I'm going to put on to sell from. Okay, to Euro Swiss. This zone here, the daily, strong daily zone. We'll look for price to retrace into that and then take that by. I was looking at this zone earlier as well. 12-hour zone. So I'm going to the hourly time frame. Have a look at this. I think this will be one that will that we'll put on. It's got some nice distribution. Double check the size. 26. Perfect. So yeah, that could be a good zone for us to buy from as well. Euro pound. Move into the hourly time frame to 2 hours. Nothing really there. 3 hours. 3 hours. A 3 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame. This could be a developing zone, but again, there's this long wick here. That's not the best. Could be potentially some selling pressure up here. So we'll mark that out. And just so everybody knows, the timeframes that I've chosen, so 12 hour 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. The reason I've chosen them is because they are all divisible into 24. So 24 hours in a day, so it means that no candles are getting cut off when the market kind of, well, technically closes, but it doesn't really close. So into the 15-minute time frame, we've got a bit of a wild wick down here. Price is already retested. Not the best, so we're not interested in that. It's not even a zone for us, to be honest. It's not moved away enough from the price point. Into the 2 hour time frame on Euro Yen. That looks like a nice zone, and it's obviously bounced off it, but I can guarantee that zone is going to be too messy. Yeah, not very good. Okay, back to the hourly. Anything new for us on here? Nope. Euro NZD, only the hourly zone higher up. I guess that also got a nasty wick out. I actually took this trade, but it had a nasty wick out and then kept falling. So that was again a bit of an unfortunate one, but we move. Okay, Euro dollar, just this hourly zone below, and then it looks to be a daily zone above. Not the best daily zone, but it could work quite well, but we'll see. GBP AUD, this 4 hour zone worked nicely. Only a small risk reward in this one though, 2.6R winner on this one because we did have a zone down here. That was our target. Tried to buy off this zone as well actually, and then obviously ripped right through it. So that was a loss. Pound CAD, this zone as well. Took this trade and I did get stopped out, even though it was just stopped out from the spread. Target is down to here due to a daily zone here, but it's not a daily zone we would take. Moving on, pound Swiss. Let's see. So I was actually looking at this zone this morning, but it does not go with our rules. So it's got a good distribution. It's technically not really been retested either. You could count, if I zoom in closer, you could count this as a retest, but it's still all just heavily dropping, so we would take that. Only reason I didn't take it is because the push away from the zone itself just wasn't big enough. So no trade on this one this morning. Pound yen. It's a really good 1 hour zone. Obviously had a good reaction from that, so that was like a 6.4R. We only took it to the highs, even though we're in a massive bull market. We probably should have taken it a lot higher, but we didn't. Took our profit on that one. And there seems to be a zone that's been created here this morning as well. So that's a nice 2 hour zone. Well, I think this candle needs to close first. What time does it close at? The next hour. So it probably needs to go up, increase in price a little bit more for us to actually put the trade on. So 19. Yeah, we need price to go a little bit higher in that market. Pound New Zealand dollar, nothing really. It's an hourly zone up here. Let's actually double check it and see if we're going to actually put this zone on. Yeah, this is a good zone. This is one we're gonna put as a limit order. So that's 2.11423 at the limit order, and then the stop loss is just going to be just above the zone, probably by a couple of pips. Pound dollar or cable, nothing on here. I find pound dollar quite hard to trade usually. It doesn't really respect the zones very often. Could be one down here if we went to the 3 hour time frame. And this is a process I take every day, either at 10 p.m. in the evening or I'll do it in the morning as well. Obviously today I'm doing it in the morning. Again, you can see there, this kind of 3 hour zone, it's a bit choppy, it's a bit messy, quite widespread. Going to keep it on there, but we're not going to take the trade because price is already boosted out of it, came back and retested. We just don't want to take the risk of any retests and having all of the orders being taken away from that area. Because that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to find the orders, where are orders left over in the market. So the zones that we were trying to identify hopefully have the highest probability that there are orders left over. Because price has not retested it, it means that price has moved away very quickly, so that there should be orders left over. Well, should being the important word there. So this 2 hour zone on NZD Swiss, it's a good one to probably take. I can go and show as well how price has moved away from it for 2 hours. It's got dropped, based, really nice distribution, and then boosted out of it. These are not foolproof though, like this could easily just sink all the way through it. NZD JPY, just looking at this area here, could be a potential zone on the higher time frame. So you've got 1, 2 basing candles, but that's why they've not got a zone in here. There's your culprit, a red candle. We've not boosted away from it far enough. Again, not really anything for us to put on here. And it's all about patience as well. If you're not patient in the market, you're not going to make any money. So this was a nice trade. Small hourly zone here from yesterday. A nice almost 10 hour. Dropped into it nicely, nice basing action. And I know you're going to say, oh, it's already retested it. It kind of has and kind of hasn't. It kind of didn't really close below our low here. It came back up and then dropped out of it. So because of that, we put the trade on. And then take profit was obviously where the next zone was, which is a 6 hour zone. I'll show you here. That's a nice 2 candle basing base rally. You'll see really nice price action, but unfortunately this one battered through us this morning, which is fine. And then there's a 4 hour zone below as well, which we have on our limit orders. Let's see, daily time frame. This really isn't the best zone. So if I go into the hourly time frame and then I reshuffle it, price has tested this daily time frame zone multiple times and just keeps bouncing off it. You can imagine as well that price will probably try and bounce from here and will probably be stuck for a while for Kiwi dollar and just consolidate. Moving on to dollar CAD. Again, this daily time frame zone bounced off it nicely. We've got a 4 hour zone below here, which is a nice looking zone. Only the issue with this zone is price hasn't really gone away from the zone. It's got a nice boost out, so you can see there's probably orders here, but it's not actually made an advancement, like a large bull run from that zone. So that's kind of what you more or less prefer to see. 4 hour zone below as well here, not taking this, it's a bit choppy, but it's one to put on. If we were selling on this zone, then the take profit would be first into here. But if this zone gets eaten up and tested first, this will be sold from and pulled down to here, if all goes well. And then another hourly zone, I'm pretty sure, further up, which is quite nice. If I go into the 5 minute, you'll be able to see this too. Nice consolidation. You can see it's probably just tested it and no more. But again, that is one we will take because it's gone away quite cleanly. It's not come up and eaten into the area. It's kind of just touched it and then pinged. To dollar Swiss. So this is one we had on, did not put the trade on because it had already retested on the lower time frame. This is a nice hourly zone higher up, which we will take at 0.90597. Price needs to get there first though, and this 12-hour zone also appeared, which looked very, very nice as well. 2 candles and then just reversed in the market. To dollar yen. Had this candle on this zone on here as well. Didn't take it because it's a bit choppy, but again, if we did have a buy trade, that would potentially be one of our take profit areas. 3 hour zone higher up. This is a bit of a tricky one though, because you can see how price has pushed into the area, which is kind of opposite where the wick is of the zone. So the chances of this rebounding and going the same distance as down below or further is probably quite slim. So to be honest with you, this is probably one we're going to take off and just have it on there on the chart, just in case, for take profit reasons. Okay, if we go into the daily time frame, just trying to see where this line's from. I think this is from genuinely 2002 or something. Oh, it's from 1986. So this zone from 1986 is getting tested at the moment on the weekly time frame, which is a bit mad as well. You can see here it's testing it just now. So we could see price potentially drop because there should be a lot of orders up there where people are thinking, oh, we're like the dollar is way overpriced for the yen. But again, I'm pretty sure Japan are trying to devalue their currency for whatever reason. I'm not really that good at economics or finance. It's just chart pattern recognition and going through a process in trading. Okay, into dollar, Singapore dollar, going into the hourly time frame. Again, there's not really much for us here. There's potentially this zone up here. I'm going to go to the 5 minute time frame. It's not bad. The zone is like up here, which makes me think that it's maybe not one for us because it's probably just, yeah, you can see there it's literally just one candle of the zone, and we're not really interested in that, the way that it's kind of developed. It's kind of strange development though, because it looks like price has come back and tested it, so you'd think normally that this candle here would be inside the zone, but it's not. But keep on the chart, but not one we're going to put on as a trade. And then looking left, the next zone is an hourly down here. I'm going to have a look at this one in the lower time frame. Yeah, you can see here, nice rally, base rally. So we'll need to get that one put on as a limit order. And that is the FX outlook. I'll be posting my indices and commodities outlook later on as well, so you'll get both outlooks. And I'll also be posting the London session where we look at gold, the Bund, the DAX, the FTSE, Aussie dollar, euro yen, euro dollar, pound yen, pound dollar, Q dollar, dollar yen, and dollar CAD. I think actually had a trade on yesterday for gold. Our targets were up here, but I'll go over all this later on, and had a euro yen position on yesterday as well, which actually went to take profit, but it was only a 2 hour, so it wasn't very significant. Let's see, a Kiwi dollar. I'm pretty sure I've got a Kiwi dollar position at the moment. Yeah, so this one is kind of pissing about, to be honest. And then the DAX trade I had on it earlier as well. That was a loss on that, but not to worry. And a gold trade as well, but chances are that's probably going to lose as well. We're kind of just accumulating in this position. Usually, when we want to see supply and demand, we want the price to ping like it did here yesterday. This was a break-even trade, but we like to see it kind of go very quickly from the area because it shows that there are lots of orders left. But anyway, hope everyone has a great day. Catch you later.